Hey Cornerstone, welcome to our third video update and our first installment of the Cornerstone Connection. It might not be the best name ever, but I like that it's about Cornerstone, and I like that it points to the fact that what we're doing is just connecting in a little different way. Speaking of connecting, just a reminder that I am looking to connect with as many individuals and families from Cornerstone as I can over the weeks to come. I would love to schedule a time to connect with you for about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. As I can do this with more and more people from Cornerstone, it'll just help me to get a better picture of who the Cornerstone family is, so that hopefully I can better serve Cornerstone as a whole in this interim time. You can email me again at brent.costello@ccblaine.org, and we will set up a time to connect so that I can learn more about you, your family, and more about Cornerstone. Without further ado, let's hear from Justin and the leaders and students that went to Quake.
Hey Cornerstone Church, this is Flooded Youth Group coming to you live from Quake 2022! Hey Cornerstone Church family, Pastor Justin here. Hey, this past weekend our youth group, Flooded, went to Wisconsin Dells to a Quake event. And this year's event's theme was courageous. How to be courageous. And of course this was taken from Joshua 1:9, which says, "Have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God goes with you wherever you go." Now our students, they participated in breakout sessions. They heard stories of courageous men and women from all around the world. And the final question was, how can we be courageous during the rest of the school year? Maybe courage looks like sitting with the lonely kid at lunch. Maybe courage is talking to the person that no one else wants to. Maybe it's inviting that outsider into your group and then eventually inviting them into church and sharing Christ with them. My prayer this weekend was that this event would bond us as a youth group. And we did that through laughing and through telling stories, playing games together, going to the water park. We even shed a few tears. And we experienced this together, and it made us grow deeper in love for each other as a youth group, as a church, and for the lost world around us. Flooded, I want you to remember, Cornerstone, I want you to remember that no matter what situation we find ourselves in, Jesus is with us, and we can walk courageously.
I'm really grateful that we had a group that was able to get to Quake and get away. I'm grateful for what God does when we take time to intentionally get away with Him. And maybe that's a weekend retreat. Maybe that's 5 or 10 minutes in the morning of quieting ourselves and opening our hearts, opening our ears, saying, God, what do you have for me today? Help me to see where I'm at. Help me to see where you're at in that. And remind me, God, of your goodness and your love. Obviously, that includes opening up His Word. That's where we hear most authoritatively from God. But it's also a reminder just to stop and get away for a minute to hear from God as often as we can. Also, just one other quick reminder this week, Cornerstone, this Sunday, February 20th, we're going to be worshiping together with Oak Haven Church. We use their building a lot. We're so grateful for the ways that they've partnered with us over the last months, and grateful for this opportunity to worship with them this Sunday as we don't have access to Roosevelt Middle School. I love, too, that that's just a reminder to us that the church is always bigger than a church. Now, hear me. Some people would want to get down on the local church and talk about how it's all about the church universal and local churches aren't as critical. There is no universal church. There is no capital C church. There is no the church without a whole bunch of individual churches. God's plan for His church is always seen in individual gathered bodies. But at the same time, I'm glad that God's plan for His church is always bigger than any one of those bodies. So this Sunday, we're grateful for the chance to celebrate that and join together with Oak Haven and worship with them.